We witnessed history today inside of Russia, in which Ukraine has taken drone warfare to a completely different level. For those who don't know, earlier today, actually it's still going on at this very moment, Ukraine had launched a special military operation that took 18 months to do. This operation is known as Operation Spiderweb, in which Ukraine had targeted 5 different air bases and a naval base all at the same time using drones. And it was done in such a sophisticated way that I am sure that when it comes to when they write the history of this war and what happens, this is going to be a defining moment. And so I figured, let's quickly go over everything we know, how it happened, and what exactly happened here. Because this has been something that's already been confirmed from the Ukrainian side. And not only did Ukraine confirm it, they gave us visuals, photos, and videos showcasing them doing this attack, things that they did before the attack, things they did during the attack. That way, the Russians can't say that, oh no, this didn't happen. And as this was going on, it was almost in response to an attack that Russia did last night, which involved 472 drones, the largest ever, plus cruise missiles. And that we'll talk about at the end of the video, because unfortunately, there were a lot of Ukrainian lives lost. So let's go over Operation Spiderweb. Out of the gate, you have to know at this very moment, 40 plus Russian bombers have been destroyed. We're talking about many different kind of bombers. And there is no list of exactly how many of each, but we know that A-50s, Tu-95s, Tu-22s, and M3s have all been hit. And in the videos and photos we show, you can kind of see that. Now, I got a 2-minute long video here, which we're going to watch together and then discuss as it's happening. So here you can see one of these drones. You can see these drones look like they're being operated not by really pilots, more or less it looks like AI in a way, because it gets above the drone. It almost looks like it's studying the drone before getting over its wing and determining exactly where to hit it. We know that these pilots, or at least these drones, were taught where to hit these things, and you can see it hovering above it. And then before it will now kind of slowly glide down. I mean, there is no Russian air defense systems here at all. You can see the Russians were completely caught off guard. You'll see it slowly coming down and down and down and down before eventually just slamming into the wing. Give it a second here, you'll see it. Right into it, loses contact. Then we have another drone. In a second, you'll see, give it a second here. This one's going in. You can see that black leg on the right-hand side. That's very important to know when we start looking at the images of these drones as they're being packaged and sent into Russia, because it was done in a very interesting way. Let me fast forward here. As we get over, you don't see any personnel, but you can see down the line, 1, 2, we'll pause it, 1, 2, 3, at least 4 bombers on fire. These aircraft are never flying again. They're currently on fire. Now, there's more down the way, which we'll see in a moment. I will fast forward it for you. So those ones are gone. You can see more down that way. And here's more videos of different aircraft. And you could say they're different because you could see on the wings, they've got tires on them. People are saying, well, what's the deal with these tires? Russia puts them in spots in which they hope that if a drone was going to attack, that's where the tanks and things are, that they would potentially hit those tires. But it's not really working out for Russia. And just to give you a little context here, someone says, well, maybe those are the same aircraft that we've seen in the original video. No, because these ones don't no tire on the first one, second one, third one, or even fourth one. These are the ones down the way. And now you can see this aircraft, the body underneath is on fire. That's not going. A lot of these aircraft are not going anywhere. And the best part is that if you watch this video, you could see a drone slam right into the aircraft. Ready? Boom! Right there. Yep. And the wing collapses down. That aircraft is not going anywhere. And so this is part of the Operation Spiderweb. What we do know is that Ukrainian forces have been working on this 18 months. They first smuggled in drones. These drones were packaged in a certain way. I guess maybe Russia wasn't able to determine what they were. We then saw trucks that got smuggled in somehow with an open cavity on top, in which Ukraine was able to put these drones inside of. They then drove these trucks to these air bases outside in gas stations and empty parking lots. The driver of those trucks left and came back to Ukraine. They're all safe and sound. And then they hit a button, and at the same time, the tops of these trucks came off, and the drones flew out. How do we know this? We've got photos and videos of this. And so if we go back to our list of things, we're going to show you this photo here. The first photo you're going to see is we're assuming this is about 100 drones. Based upon the photo, if you start counting them up, some of these have 5 or 6 in here. So you got 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. So right here is a decent amount, and then more over here. There's has to be at least 100 of these drones. And this is what they did. These are what the trucks look like. You can see there's at least, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rows of at least 3 drones. The roof of these come off. You can see solar panels on there, maybe charging these drones. We don't really know. And we're going to slide over. You can see how many there are. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in this photo alone. There could be more. We do know that 6 bases were hit, 5 air bases, 1 naval bases, which I'll show you the map in a second. And you can see another photo here of how they're stored. Okay? This is important to look at because when we start showing you other photos and videos of how they did it, this is the launching of said drones. Okay? I just want to pause this so you could kind of take a look here. Down at the very bottom, this is that lid. So clearly that slid right off. And if you watch long enough, you can see a drone pop up here before then going out to its target all the way out and hitting the base. You can see another lid on the ground here. And you can see another drone in the corner. These are all things that are going to be studied, my friends. And while this is happening, there are Russians on the ground watching this, trying to stop it. We've seen videos like this where Russians are climbing on top of these trucks to get up in here, hopefully trying to stop the drones from coming out because they see what's happened. They're giving them stones or trying to hit it. I know this video is kind of shaky, but we know that these trucks kind of have a self-destruct button on them because then we started seeing videos like this in which, yeah, it's on fire. These trucks are on fire. And weirdly enough, we do see videos of Russians going inside and then a kaboom. I'm not going to share that video with you. I don't think that's appropriate. But I just want you to pay attention to the photo here of this drone. These are those photos we saw in that one photo. This is such a sophisticated attack. It's absolutely incredible. Now, these are the bases we know that were hit. These actually only show 4 because at the time that we started doing our videos, this is all we knew. This one here, yeah, 3,000 kilometers away. There's 2 circled here in Moscow. We know there's another one down here. And then here is the air base. And then around this area, we also know that it's actually, I think it's up here, the Northern Sea. Russia had a base, or maybe it was over here. I don't remember. I have to pull up the original map. That the bases were hit. Sorry, today was one of those days in which there's just so much information coming out that it's kind of insane. Trying to see if there's anything else. This is the naval base. This Navy base is used for a few different things. It's for regular, obviously, Navy ships, but also they work on nuclear submarines here. So that's kind of big. And we've gotten photos and videos showcasing that fire. So we know that something was hit. We don't know exactly what was hit there. Here's another photo for one of the air bases hit. This is just, once again, this is still breaking right now. We're still getting information sent out to us. It's slowly coming out. It's slowly coming. And we're also trying to figure out if Ukraine actually had pilots. We were reading online that it may have been AI drones that did it. They hit the button, the drones knew exactly where to go and what to hit. That is possible. But clearly we're getting videos and photos back showcasing that these aircraft have been hit and destroyed. The grand question is, what is Russia going to do about it? Well, unfortunately, we know that when it comes to Russia, they did do a major attack last night. They sent 472 drones into Ukraine. they also sent multiple missiles into Ukraine. And unfortunately, there is bad news out of that. So Ukraine was doing some kind of trainings. Russia found out about it. They hit the training grounds. And unfortunately, they killed a decent amount of men. We know that at least 13 people have been taken out. And others have been injured. Dozens have been injured. Now, the commander that was in charge of this actually put an announcement online saying that he is resigning because he should never done this. I mean, it was kind of, stupid that he did this. And so in his statement, I want to read it for you. This is translated from Ukrainian. And so he says, I made the decision to submit my resignation as the position of the commander of the ground forces of the armed forces of Ukraine. This is driven by the personal sense of responsibility for the tragedy at the 239th training ground, which resulted in the death of soldiers. As a commander, I was not able to fully ensure the execution of my orders. I did not push hard enough, didn't persuade enough, didn't change the attitude towards the person in the ranks. This is my responsibility, referring to essentially what happened here. He says, mutual cover-ups and impunity are a poison for the army. I try to root them out in the ground forces, but if tragedies continue to happen, it means my efforts were not enough. And so he says, an army in which commanders take responsibility for the lives of their people is alive. An army where no one is held accountable for losses dies from within. 12 dead, more wounded. There are young men from training battalions. Most of them were in shelters. They were supposed to learn to live, to fight, not to die. My deepest condolences to the families of the fallen and to all those who've been affected. I initiated an investigation to all the circumstances of the tragedy, the actions of the commanders, the condition of the shelters, and the effectiveness of the alert systems. So essentially, he is taking responsibility, and he says, I have to. This is my bad. Guys, this is not the first time or even the second time this has happened in Ukraine. It really shows you how bad sometimes the commanders can be in certain things. It is really sad. That being said, we're less than 24 hours away from when Russia and Ukraine are supposed to meet in Istanbul. What's going to happen? I don't know. Is Russia going to respond tonight? Is there going to be an Orshanik attack? I don't think so. Will Russia launch missiles? You need bombers for that, and 41 of them have now been destroyed. Orshanik, we know they kind of failed the last time they tried doing it, so I don't know if they are even able to do it at this time. But this is where we sit. It is currently 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. That is 5 p.m. Ukrainian time? So it's still daytime. We'll see what happens. We also haven't heard, let me actually check this out before I actually say this in my video. We haven't heard from Zelensky yet. Let me update, let me double check. Let me double check my, his time frame. We have not. So, actually, no. This says here, I heard reports from the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and General Staff, our intelligence agencies, and the Security Service of Ukraine, our defense, our active actions, and our diplomacy. We're doing everything to protect your independence, our state, and our people. I outlined the tasks in the near term. I also defined our positions ahead of the meeting in Istanbul on Monday. First, a full and unconditional ceasefire. Second, the release of prisoners. Third, the return of abducted children. And in order to establish a reliable and lasting peace and ensuring security in preparation of the meeting at the highest level, the key issues can only be resolved by the leaders. On Monday, a delegation will be led by, and then he's named who was going to lead it. So that's where we're at. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. We also have a Substack, and if you become a founding member or paid subscriber, your name gets at the end of the video, which we've got, I think, 5 people right now. So I appreciate everyone. Guys, it's going to be a busy day, so I'll be sure to keep you updated. So please do subscribe, turn on notifications, and give this video a thumbs up. I'm Joey. Stay safe.